The second issue is for the privilege to walk into the park, which is a cover charge, you're still spending an enormous amount of money to get in to the rest of the park. That just leads you to get to, what is it, Jumanji level 1, okay, into the park. Well, I learned a new word today because of my YouTube algorithm that keeps enforcing videos and topics that no matter what I say, I could not give a fairy rat's behind. Here we go with that series again, my YouTube algorithm, and me stopping fighting it and just joining the rhetoric. I learned about Disney adults. Now, to be fair, I've heard this before vaguely. And for some reason, I think because I've done some Disney comments or said Disney way too many times, like, what is it, Beetlejuice? I am now flooded everywhere about people who don't like these Disney adults. So I had to do what I normally do, and I had to investigate the situation because I needed to understand what was this disdain for these people who are adults that are going to Disney outside of my experience contending with them for the one time I was there 3 years ago-ish with my family. And when I discovered that there is an entire group of people, not just on YouTube, but on Instagram and on TikTok, who religiously go to Disney every day for various reasons. Influencers, park hoppers, live streamers, everything. And I realized how extensive this was and how much money they could be potentially making by doing this. I said, now we have a video. So, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena, and I hope that you are going to have a good time watching this, as I had an interesting time actually making this up. I don't have any notes, so sometimes I may go off script, or I might be able to forget something and then I want to add it back in later. So do forgive me because I hate writing notes. But I hope that if I bring value to you, you decide to stay along, like, share, comment, subscribe, hype, all the 9 things that YouTube says that you need in order for your video to even be shown to 2 people. So if you're those 2 people who are not part of my community, thank you for watching. And for those who have been with me since my ride or die, since the beginning of this channel, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Disney adults, what the hell is going on? So this seems to be an addiction of people who want to continuously go and support the mouse, the House of Mouse, and they go an extreme amount of times. Now, to be fair, this addiction is not any different to me in my eyes where people who want to, let's say, I don't know, go to that place. Where is it called? Las Vegas, gambling. There's gambling addiction. There's eating too much, not eating at all, plastic surgery, shopping, sex, drug, and rock and roll. Less the rock and roll and the other part, the other 2. There's addictions for everything. You can become addicted to anything at this point, right? So I am not going to poo-poo or pee-pee on people who want to spend their life savings or go into debt and figure out a way to get to Disney every time. I think there's enough videos, more con than pro out there, that really outline this situation. And it was shocking to me how many people were talking about this. And I am going to get into the depth. I'm going to show you a video from, I think he's a financial person that I found on TikTok, talking to people who go into Disney debt. This is what triggered me to try to take a different approach on listening to the side of the Disneyers adults. So let's take a look.
The reason why I'm spending money on it is because I feel like I lost out on my childhood just not being able to have things like this, like just
shut the fuck up. Wait, I mean, come on.
Yeah, like, I think 8 years at Disney should kind of make up for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, 8 years at Disney?
We've had Disney passes for 8 years.
You can't afford. You can't afford anything. He's about to fucking walk and you're choosing Mickey? Buddy, he completely disagrees.
I love Disney.
Which is fine.
It's part of my childhood. Like, I always
Congratulations, turn
wanted
on
to
the
go.
Disney Channel. You always wanted to go. You've been going for 8 years.
So I did.
You've been going for 8 years. You've always wanted to go. You've been going for 8 years. You can
Yes,
pause.
because they have new things that happen all the time at Epcot. Like you can like I like going.
Stick or Ginger's dick. You gotta choose.
God, I said the same goddamn thing.
Ginger
You were
stick.
standing up and you're talking about this too?
Yeah, I know Evan.
What's your pushback on the Disney?
He just doesn't.
She
he
likes
just
to
doesn't go.
She likes these like little one night.
He doesn't even go?
Barely.
It's like sometimes he just doesn't go. Like he's
So
just
this
like
is just for you.
it's for me and my son. Like I want
Kids
my
too.
he. I mean, he likes the characters. He likes going out. No, he does really like the characters, and he really loves Disney. Like
He's
I
two. He can't remember things for at least a minimum another year.
He likes the watermelon from the freaking resort.
You guys are trailer trash and you're going to Disney?
Yes, memories for the kids.
They will not remember their 5-year-old memories.
Well, it's worth it for the pictures.
Good news. Google Gemini. Tell them they went to Disney. They won't even know.
He's autistic.
How autistic?
Pretty severely.
Okay. So's my producer. Everyone on the show has autistic kids these days.
No, but he's nonverbal.
He can't talk.
Oh, I know. It's
He
like
has-
every guest these
Yeah,
days.
he has therapy 3 times a week. And he's
What's
only
his
gotten
home?
into one fight at daycare.
Bro, he's 4 years old.
Only one fight. So far.
Okay. Listen, I'm in no position to tell any one person how they want to spend their money, right? You want to go into debt? You want to spend your life going to Disney parks? It's what floats your mouse of house. You know, okay, sure. I can look away. I have my own problems, to be honest with you. Do I understand it? No, but I don't understand gambling. I don't understand alcohol, being addicted to alcohol. I don't understand a lot of these addictions that we have. I just know that at some point you're going to have to pay the House of Mouse Piper. Now we get into story time. Listen, I have family in Orlando. So when I was a child, between the ages of 7 and 10, my grandmother would take me to visit them. Me and my brother and I, me and my brother, me and my brother to Orlando to visit them for the summer 1 month. We stayed the entire month. Since I am Generation X, this was 1970s. And the reality is that every time we were there, we would visit Disney a lot, even to a point for my size at that time, once a year, every month, for the month of the summer. It was a lot because there's so many. Back then, Animal Kingdom wasn't open. Epcot wasn't open. There was only SeaWorld and there was Disney World and Tampa Busch Garden, which my family was not going to take us to. It was too far. Orlando is a driving state. It was, if you don't have a car or means to a car, there was no Ubers. There were taxis, I believe. But if you didn't have a car, you need to move completely out of the state. So driving to Disney was a ritual, getting into the Disney parks. You know, I remembered it vividly because, again, it was repetitive. Every summer, once a month, I would visit them. We would go out there at least 3 times a week. Back then, I didn't understand what the hell was going on. But as I grew older, I realized that there's nothing to do in Orlando. If it wasn't for Disney World, SeaWorld, there's no real, I don't want to poo-poo on them either, nightlife. Like in a big metropolitan city like New York, Chicago, California, like there really isn't much to do for, let's say, 18 and over. Okay. So you're not bar hopping. You can, but it's not an easy way to get to everything. You have to find parking. It depends on a lot of things. So I can understand why some people like to do Orlando. Because when you go into the Orlando park that now allows you to have alcohol, especially in Epcot, it is almost paying a cover price to go into a bar or a club. That's what it really is to me. And I'll explain why. So the last time I went to Disney as a child, Epcot was being created. So I never got to get the experience of Epcot when I was a child, which I don't think I should have at that point, but that's another story for another day. So I wanted to take my son at an age I know that he would remember. So he was 10 when I took him. He was born 1995. So we went in 2005, my husband and I and my son. And I've never stayed at any of the Disney resorts. Don't care to. I think it's all bull S. And this is right before these, what is it called? The magic tickets that they're now doing. You know, I forgot, Fast Passes. Or right before, yeah, it was Fast Pass. So we went, it was nice. It was not what I remembered. It was starting to I remember the crowds. I remember the heat. That I don't forget. There were newer rides, but I always stayed to the tried and true ones. I love the Hall of Presidents. You could leave me there all day. The Peter Pan ride. I still remember that very vividly as a child. I mean, you know, it's a small world. I personally don't like the reincarnation of it, but that's just me. Pirates of the Caribbean was always slow, but it was interesting. You know, I don't do roller coasters, so Space Mountain is a no-go for me. I mean, you cannot put, no. But my son and my husband did go on the ride. So was it as memorable as it was for me? Well, it didn't lose its magic. They were still, I want to say the characters were still in the parks, walking around the parks, but my son wasn't as adamant of getting like the autographs. Like when I was growing up, I was obsessed with getting Mickey's autograph because I was a kid, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay, great. So now it wasn't a big thing. So here he is, 10 years old. He does remember it. We took him to the park. Great. What's next? Now my son is 30. And, you know, with the two girls, we wanted to do Orlando with them. Well, he did. And I was living in Miami. This was right after the pandemic, a year after. So it was 2020. So we were going to Orlando for Disney 2021 because I remember that I had to get on the plane from Miami to Orlando. I still needed to wear a mask on the plane, but we weren't wearing masks in the park. So I think that some of the restrictions were going down, but I do remember vividly having to wear that Dan Fangit mask on the plane. So he came from New York, met me there. I went there I flew into Orlando through Miami, and we didn't stay at one of the Disney resorts. We did stay at an Airbnb. I want to say it was like an Airbnb resort where it's like an HOA, but most of the places there, the houses are Airbnb'd, and it's a professional company that actually manages the properties. So we stayed in about a 5-bedroom house, 2 floors, beautiful pool, everything. It was about 20 minutes away from Disney World. But my son remembered me telling him that I've never been to Epcot, and that was the one thing I always wanted to try. He was like, all right, so we're here for about a week. So I'm going to take you, me, and the girlfriend at the time. Well, at the same girlfriend. He's going to marry her soon. So it's going to be my daughter-in-law. So I'm going to take the 3 of us to Epcot day 1. And I was like, oh, yay, great. I thought I was going to get on the new Galaxy of the Guardian Crapola ride. I did not know anything about how these parks work anymore. Because the last time I went, my son was 10. And the last time I was there was still the electric parade. Okay? So we went to Epcot. It first of all was in January, and it was freaking freezing in Orlando. It was one of the coldest days in Orlando. Thank God I had a sweatshirt. And I froze myself from the morning. We went on the Into the Ball, the Epcot ball, and we sat down just to get warmth. And it was not what I expected. I think Epcot is just a place. It's like I said, a covered charge to drink and to eat. So they have all these little vignettes of different countries that you can sample their food, but there is no real sample of the people, if that makes sense. You know, you're just walking through Italy, you're just like walking through Morocco, and There's nobody really there representing, and you're just eating food, you're drinking, you're walking around. There's maybe one or two rides that I couldn't even get on other than the World Sphere, and I don't do roller coasters. And I left there saying, well, I can say I did Epcot, and that was it. What I did notice, which I didn't realize how bad it was going to be in Disney World the next day, a lot of people, not just on their phones, like, no, people that were streaming. They had, what are those phone poles that you use to, like, stream? And those were the calm ones. Then you had full-fledgling film crews, like somebody with a film photographer actually going through the park showing. And I'm like, well, that's new. And you have to like get out of their way, and they're like interrupting lines, and I'm like, tell my son, like, what is this? He goes, I have no idea, I've never seen this. I was like, okay, I don't remember this when you were a kid, but let's get out of the park. Next day, that evening, my son's girlfriend's like, I gotta wake up at 7 a.m. to get tickets to be on the line. I'm like, you gotta who to what to where to get to what to what? These fast passes or whatever the hell they're called, you have to like get there, get online on the phone, and you have to do reservations. I'm like, okay, I don't remember doing that either, but I didn't like put too much thought to it because I just heard 7 a.m. I was like, okay, I'm going to bed now. What time is it? 6 o'clock. Okay, I need 12 hours just to get through tomorrow, because I already knew what I was going to be in for when I got into Disney World with 2 kids. Okay. Disney World. Oh my God. The monorail wasn't working, so we only could take the ferry. Okay. And the line to the ferry was an hour and a half wait, shipping people back and forth. I was like, should I be concerned? Of course not. I was trying to be positive, but in my head, I was screaming. I'm like, here we go. Okay. Hour 1. We get there. We're patted down by security as if we were, terrorists. That broke the magic for me, but I understood what they were doing. Okay. We get there, and the park, for some reason, looks exactly the same as I remembered it when I took my son when he was 10 years old. And that's not a good thing. There were not many upgrades. There were actually some downgrades. It looked dilapidated. It looked like it needed a huge renovation on style, theme, color, paint, whatever the hell was going on. But of course, I noticed that. My son's girlfriend didn't remember that. My son was 10, and the girls were sort of interested, but they weren't as engaged as I saw most of the people. So I get in there, and I'm like, what do I see? Streamers everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm like, okay, there's got to be something to this, because it was very intrusive. And not only that, the people that were on their phones, not able to enjoy the experience, because not only do you have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to do whatever reservation my son's girlfriend was talking about, you constantly have to be on your phone to check the ride lines and the ride times and like everybody's on their phone. Like I was like parents pushing their kids in their strollers on their phones, and the kids are screaming. And I'm like, this is not the Disney I remember at all. Okay. I was just sitting there wherever I can find a place to sit. And I'm just looking around, people watching, because there's not that many rides, because my son's girlfriend went on some of the rides with the girls. And I knew I wanted to do Haunted Mansion. And I went on the ride, The Little Mermaid, with them. And what was interesting to me is that I saw more water on It's a Small World and Pirates of the Caribbean than I saw in The Little Mermaid ride. There was some fake water streaming things that were like hallucinogenics. I don't know what the hell it was. I'm just going through this ride, and I'm like, yo, where's the water? Isn't this a Little Mermaid ride? It was so fast the ride. We were so miserable. The girls were like, yeah, I'm bored. I'm like, you're bored? Honey, for these ticket prices, you better be less than bored. In my head, I'm thinking. Food, wait. Not that great. The ride lines, if you don't get those, those passes to skip the line, 90 minutes for a 45-second ride with kids on a line that need to go to the bathroom. So you need somebody to hold your place there. So you can't be a single parent visiting unless you have a kid that wears diapers. Because if you're not at least 3 people, so every time that you're waiting on this 90 plus hour lines and they need to go to the bathroom or grab something to eat or drink and someone is there holding your place, you're screwed. Okay? You're screwed. And that's what I've realized. I'm like, all right, so why are there Disney adults here? Well, as I'm looking through, I gave up, by the way. After a while, I was just like, listen, I went into the Hall of Presidents, one of my favorite rides, and the Carousel of Progress, one of my other favorite rides, because they're all sitting down. I saw the Hall of Presidents. I was very excited. And then there was a seat outside of the Hall of Presidents, and I was there for the rest of the day. That was it. Call me done. I was done. And I started people watching. And between the people on their phones streaming, the people on their polls streaming, and the full film crews that were streaming, I'm amazed I didn't get caught on camera. And the kids crying, the parents upset, people are tired. There were no characters walking around because now they have to do the meet and greet. I went into one of the stores that was, I think, princess themed, and the person behind the counter, and I don't know this person, and she was so miserable. There was no beepity boppity boo behind her. Okay. I asked her a question. She answered it, and that was it. People walking around the parks that are security or whatever. It was just so suffocating. And I was like, I don't know if these kids are going to remember or understand the magic that's supposed to be happening here. Okay. The nighttime comes, the kids are exhausted. There is no electric parade. Again, I had no idea that they canceled it. So now they replaced it with fireworks, something I can see twice a year, especially 4th of July. But, I sat there and I couldn't see a damn thing because all of the live streamers with their freaking poles and they're all hanging their things. And I'm just trying to find the castle, and I'm, trying to find my family. It's nighttime. And I was like, that's it. I found a little squeeze of a hole sitting on a concrete with a fence, and the castle was behind me. And I was just like, I'll just listen to the fireworks. I can envision what it looks like. The most exciting part of the fireworks was Tinkerbell was at the end. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's great. I could have seen that on television, actually. Then to get out of the park, 2 hours to get out of the park because, everybody's leaving at the same time. The monorail's broken. You can only get out by ferry. And there's hordes of people trying to get out of the park. 2 hours to get out of the park. By the time we got home, I was like, well, that was fun. My son was like, yeah. So the other day I asked the girls, but it's been a few years now. I'm like, so did you like going to Disney? Like, yeah. I was like, okay. It's not what, because they never talk about it. They never, I don't see them like getting into the whole Disney. I want merch. I want this. I want that. When I was Disney, when I was watching Disney, I was like, I wanted to be a Disney person. I could understand the fascination, right? They were like, I was like, so if you liked it, where do you prefer going? Oh, Puerto Rico instead. I'm like, that's not even a theme park. That's Puerto Rico. So their memory of this is just, it was cute. Wow. That's sad. Because let's be realistic of what's going on here. The opening of Disney from Walt Disney, for many who may not know, his vision of family and their kids have a place to have fun, which was Disneyland. He created it for the people then that were from the greatest generation, the silent generation, that were giving birth to the baby boomers, right? They've never had anything like that before. It was wonderful. It was new. It was amazing to visit. It wasn't, paying off, a down payment to your house cost. And it led to the generation, the baby boomers that were being born and going to the parks, to enjoy it and then take the next generation, which is my generation, Generation X. So when my baby boomer mom took me, I appreciated Disney. They still had great movies, animation. I enjoyed it. Did I become a fanatic? No, of course not. So then when I gave birth to that now generation that's here, the 30-year-old, to my son, I saw the change. I understood it. I didn't expect to see it when he was 10. And now that he's 30, he's taking the younger generation. And something happened between Gen X to this generation that you either really, really hate Disney or you really, really want to be a Disney adult. The issue I have with Disney adults is this. I'm not going to get into your psychological reasons why, because everyone has a psychological reason, whether it's trauma, reliving your memories, never having any memories. That's great. Good for you. These ticket prices now for a family, let's say even 4, it's legitimately the privilege to walk into the park. Let's take a look at what the ticket prices are now.
Here are today's ticket prices for Disney World, Florida. These are the one-day ticket prices for the Magic Kingdom. Ages 10 plus, $194. Ages 3 to 9, $189. Epcot, $189, $184. Disney's Hollywood Studios, $189, $184. And the best deal is at Disney's Animal Kingdom at $174, $169. Here are the multi-day ticket prices. This is the base ticket price for 2 days. Ages 10 plus, $362. Ages 3 to 9, $352. 3 days, $532, $518, and 4 days, $678, $660. Comment below and let me know what you guys think.
That is per person. There was a time that children, I believe, under 10 were free. That's no more. The second issue is for the privilege to walk into the park, which is a cover charge, you're still spending an enormous amount of money to get in to the rest of the park. That just leads you to get to, what is it, Jumanji level 1, okay, into the park. Then you have to get the pass to skip the line, X dollars per person, $29, $34, whatever. If you do not get those passes, okay, you're on lines that could last up to 90 minutes with kids on a line. And if you're lucky, you get to ride 4 rides at the end of the day. Because in between waiting on the line for the 45-second time that it is on that line, you got to go eat, which is another line. You got to go to the bathroom. You have to sit down. You have to walk. You cannot realistically do, though I'm telling you, you can if it was strategized properly. You cannot do Disney in one day if you're not paying for all these, extra added costs. And every single thing that's there is a charge. I am actually shocked that they don't charge you for going to the bathroom. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You want water, you want drinks, you want Mickey ears, you want merch, you want food, you want to skip the line, you want to, every single thing there is an additional cost to the cost of getting into the park. So now you're contending with people, and this is what I did notice, and this is where I said, if we keep feeding Disney people who are willing to pay this enormous amount of money, because the ones that go there every day, a majority of them probably live in Orlando. And if you are a Florida resident, you get a 30 to 40% discount on the ticket, which means that for the ticket prices that are now, the 30-40% discount are the prices that were the price or should have been the price 10, 15 years ago. $50, $60, $70. Okay. There are people who go there every day. There are people who move to Orlando to do the parks every single day and record it. They're influencers. They're making money. Either they're being paid by YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, to create this content. Okay. I can't say anything about that. What is disturbing to me is that Disney will continue to raise their prices because there's people who are willing to pay it even at the discount rate, which means that people who are not Florida residents that cannot afford, that are not eligible for this discount rate, need to pay the exorbitant amount of money per person. And if you're a family of, let's say, average of 4, that amount is just to get you through the door. It doesn't including your flight to get there, however you got there, renting a car, Ubering, wherever you're staying, whether you're staying on property, off property, if you're swimming there, if you're hijack, if you're what is it? I can't remember the name. Kayaking. That's the word, because you can probably. I don't know. These people are spending whatever amount of money that they can to take their family for the Disney experience. Sure. So Disney will continue to raise its prices. Okay. That's how it affects us regular people. When people who romanticize and go there excessively think that they're doing good or they're getting paid however they're getting paid to do this, how it affects the normal people. Even if you don't care about that. Let's say you don't care. The fact that people who go there with their families need to stand there for 90 minutes while you're taking the fast pass line for whatever cost is the most frustrating part to me. Let's take a look at some of these videos that I know I experienced when I was there.
Why I love Lightning Link Multi-Pass at Disney World. Starting to feel bad for all of the people we are passing. We skipped an hour-and-a-half long line, and we went from entering the line to riding Space Mountain in 6 minutes.
So some of them can't even afford to go, and they buy the fast pass. They're skipping all of these people who have, can't afford it, won't pay it, whatever the case may be. Fine. That takes away from the experience of the people that it was intended for, the families and children. You want to be a Disney adult? Fine. You can afford to spend money on the fast passes and do your influencing and whatever it is that you're doing at the park. Great. But now the experience for the general public has been diluted because Disney is not going to care. They're going to keep pushing it to the limit until someone stands up and revolts against it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see many children happy at Disney anymore. And when I say children, serious children, talking about children between 7 and 10. Because the younger ones, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to remember. They're tired. They just want to get out in the freaking sun and the heat. Okay. I didn't see anyone really enjoying between the 7 and 10 because some of them, they were tired. They were sitting on the floor. They were looking at everybody passing them. They weren't even interested in the rides. They weren't even, it's a small world. They're like, yeah, whatever. I wanted to get on the Peter Pan ride. That was one of the rides that I used to love getting on with my brother when I was a young kid. Broken. Okay. The one ride that I would love to take the girls, Broken. Little Mermaid, no water. It's a small world. The girls could not care what world they were in, And then I had people in front of me and behind me. Oh, what country is that? What country is that? What country is that? I was like, okay, I'm not even going to say anything. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean, unless you're a fanatic about it, sure. The Haunted Mansion, I could only go with one other person. I believe it was my son's girlfriend because the girls were scared from getting to the elevator. I was like, all right, so this is not the ride for them. They did Space Mountain. They enjoyed that. It was at night. There wasn't a big line. I was like, I stood outside on a cold, hard stone chair that they had. I'm like, this is the least futuristic park side I've ever watched. Please leave me at the Hall of Presidents. I'd rather sit there all day. What I can't understand is, even if you're going there every day, and I get that there's nothing to do in Orlando, how are you doing this financially? Going broke for Disney is a trigger word for a lot of people, and I've seen it. I've been listening to it. The debt that people are incurring for a park or parks that have not changed, have very little upgrade, are not really giving you your bang for your buck. The magic is being taken away for the families that what it was intended to, which it's fine if you want to go relive your history, but do you need to really do it every single day and go into debt? And I would ask the same question if somebody was a gambler. If somebody was an alcoholic, which I would actually send them to Gamblers Anonymous and AA. But they should be some sort of support group for these people, because this has become a mockery. And I couldn't understand it when I took my son. It wasn't that bad because we didn't have smartphones at that point, but you could tell that something was off. By the time we took the girls in 2021, I was like, oh my God, I don't ever want to go back again. I honestly don't. Like, if they ask me to go, I'm like, nope, I won't. Because if you go in January and it's cold, you're freezing your butt tucks off. You have to pick a really good, nice season, which most of the kids are in school for. Or because if you take them on any of the spring breaks, school breaks, Christmas breaks, the prices are even worse. Or you sit outside in the summer, in the sun, in the lines, dying. And there is no happy people in the park. When I tell you there were no happy, not even the staff was happy, and I don't blame them. I don't know when Disney went awry. I can hypothesize many different versions. I just know that the vision that Walt Disney had for Disneyland and what he expected for Disney World, I cannot say that being a Disney adult is not okay, not normal. I am not a professional person. I just know that there's a lot of people who nitpick them, and I can see both sides. But at some point, I'm leaning towards it being a little weird when your whole life is going into debt because you're trying to recreate Peter Pan Neverland, because that's exactly what you're doing. Or you are that bored and you live in Disney or live in Orlando, and, for the Epcot side, it's still a cover charge to get into the same park because you still have to buy drinks. I could totally understand why people go there every single day. It's like a hangout spot, except that they charge you a cover at the door versus a hangout spot somewhere else, And if you are making money because, you need to make the money back for all the money that you're spending to go to these parks because you're doing your influencing or your TikToks or your YouTube, and you got a lot of fans and you're using money from the ad revenue, or you're being sponsored or whatever the hell any of that is, good for you. But there is going to be a generation that's going to grow up not giving a fairy rat's behind about Disney. I don't know if Disney cares, because they are making it almost impossible for anybody who doesn't have money to visit the parks, whether it's a one-time, whether it's twice a year, every day, whatever it is. The goal and trajectory of Disney, I completely understand. They built it for the generation of the boomers and, the greatest generation and the silent generation. And the parents had money, and it was an endless flow of money because they kept going. And I got that. And then as the generation started to skip, they realized that kids don't have the money. They need their parents, or adults that don't have kids need to go and fund this mouse of house. I get that. They're going to squeeze the hell out of every orange juice you have in order to get money for a park that really hasn't brought a really great return on investment. I'm sorry. I hate to say it hasn't. For me, I would start creating a second part of the park, because there's enough land for them to do it, even though some of them I think they can't touch, but they can afford a second park. They should have start building a second park, make it bigger and better. open that side of the park and then close down Disney World and start renovating and upgrading and changing that where, it has whatever the sparkle that it needs, still have the other side open. Everybody's going to look at it. Oh, look at the pretty new ball. Oh, yeah, yeah. Go there. And then when they finish the renovation, open it up to the public so you have a much Disney universe. And now people can go to both sides instead of trying to finagle themselves going to Epcot, Animal Kingdom, all the stuff. Like it should be one continuous universe, Disney universe. The Hellwood World, do it Disney universe. They could have been done this 15 years ago. So the Disney World that's being cramped right now because there's just not enough space or time in the year, day, month, hour for it to be sensible to stand on the line for 90 minutes. So instead of trying to resolve that issue, they're squeezing as much money out of you for a problem that they could have fixed a very long time ago. They can't fix it now in their minds. So instead of helping the people who are on these hot ass lines, okay, they are going to make you pay to do a skipping of the line per person. And that's including your children. That should be for free. I'm sorry. I don't like this. It's sad to me because they're absorbing as much as they can because eventually these Disney's adults are going to get older. They're not creating new children who want to go to these parks. They're lucky if they created a new Disney adult generation after this generation is phasing for whatever reason. They don't see the cycle. They're just looking at what's in front of them right now. And what's in front of them right now is squeezing the hell out of you for every nickel dime for an old ass park that is fading. They can tell me whatever new ride, Tiana's Bayou's bull crap and whatever the Guardians of the Galaxy bull crap. That's not a return on investment when I'm sitting there for 2 hours. I want to experience the whole park. I don't want to stand on a line for 2 hours and then I have to go get something to eat and then I got to go to the bathroom and then I got to find someplace to sit because I'm freaking tired. Because I either have screaming kids with me, I am tired, or I got Disney adults influencers around me that are pissing me the hell off. Oh my God, I'm getting so mad. So, Disney adults, listen, good luck paying off your debt to a corporation that is not going to help you pay off their debt. Maybe you should consider talking to someone therapeutically and figuring out why you need to have this situation remedied by going to the park X amount of times, going into debt, and laughing and joking about it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Whether you're getting it for the views, I believe some of these people are performative. It's a little scary when people tell me they moved to be around the parks, but then when I look at the larger side of it, they're moving to be to the park so they can create content because there was a money machine for it. I heard through the grapevine, through the mouse vine, that Disney is considering banning streamers from the parks. I could not be happier. I'm sorry. Some of these streamers are not streamers. They're full-on film crews. Okay? Let's take a look at the reasons why this is happening.
You've probably seen the headline this week. Disney is banning live streamers. Kind of. Because the ban people are talking about, it's already in the park rules. One line, under prohibited activities. No recording for unapproved commercial purposes. If your stream makes money, that line covers you. And it has for years. So here's what nobody's saying. Disney's rules aren't a switch. They're a dial. The rule's always been there. Disney just chose not to turn it up. Because a live streamer pulling 20,000 viewers through Magic Kingdom is free marketing. Until it isn't. March 2024, YouTuber Jack Doherty, 14 million subscribers. Trespass from Disney, trespass from Universal the next day. He filmed both removals himself. Neither company has ever said why. Then March 11th this year, Anaheim police swarmed Disneyland. Mass shooting hoax, swatting call. A live streamer named Oblivion was the target. Disney security walked him out of the park that night. That's the dial moving, you just didn't see it move. Since 2021, at least 6 other creators have been trespassed from Disney parks. Different reasons, same rule in the background. It was always there. Enforcement is what changed. Here's what gets lost in all of this. Disney Live is real. Real audiences, real communities. And the rule that can shut it down is real too. What your next Disney day feels like depends on a dial that Disney's been holding this whole time.
You see what I'm saying? I personally feel that Disney is going to find a way to monetize these streamers. Don't know how, don't know where, don't know when. But do I think that they're going to get rid of them altogether? No, because it's free advertising, okay? There are thousands and thousands of views of people who are streaming. They're making money, whether it's AdSense money, sponsorships, they're making money off of this. Disney has not taken a cut from it. I'm shocked that they even allowed it, to be honest with you. The way that they're so anal about copyright, and when I tell you anal, okay? I am actually shocked they've allowed these people to do this and get paid to do it through YouTube or whatever the streaming platform and not take a cut from it. But it's going to come soon. Because if you think that Disney's not finding a way to squeeze as much juice from this House of Mouse, you're wrong. There's someone right in there in that Disney castle sitting with all the Cinderella cast members, okay, trying to figure out if we can't beat them, how do we join them? Guarantee you by end of year, they're going to figure out how to get monetized from the people who are streaming inside their parks. Because I can't see them banning them because that will be astronomical, okay? But if they can make money off of them, they will. Because that's the way the House of Mouse rolls under the new leadership, which has been for a while. So good luck, Disney adults. I do ask that you do take into consideration the people that are there with their families. Please stop shoving your cameras and start, with the freaking selfie sticks and the film crews. That sucks, and I don't like it. And it's not helpful for the other children that actually were there to be there. I'm not going to talk about whatever else that you're doing to get money to pay for these things. I think you've been berated and you have been memed and enough. I think you know that it's stupid. And for all the Disney families or the families who want to go to Disney, consider something else. My opinion. You may not think it's as great as that you would have remembered if you were a child. Or maybe you still want to try it because you think that it's going to be fun. If you are planning on it and then you go and then you come back and you realize, hey, Lena might have been a little right. I could have done something else. Maybe a Disney cruise. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. If you're that much into the mouse, there are other options. There are other places to go. And you come back and you can tell me you were right. I spent $12,000 on this trip and it sucked. Or you've already done this and you knew I was right and you clicked on because you wanted to hear my version. Comment. Whatever it is. The fact that I learned a new word, Disney adult, in this crazy world that I've learned more on social media than I ever have in any school that I've ever been to. It's very interesting. Story time, Disney adult, time is over. So I want to thank you for letting me speak. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for, if you want to, subscribe and join my wonderful community because we have a lot of fun here. And I appreciate every single one of you and your time. So from here to around the world, even past Disney, that I reach, I want to wish you all a blessed day, blessed night, week, weekend, month, year. Because you know what? With or without Disney, we need to feel blessed. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.